Um, and my hope and my goal is to tonight to get people mentally able to hear and respect different points of view without having a big divide. Black people, we find ways to be divided. Um, Terrell got me thrown off. But I say tonight, we're already divided as Black people. We have issues with unity amongst Black people. And it amazes me that we allow politics to divide us more. And I told someone today, us arguing over Democrat and Republican, to me, looks like a group of people standing in front of the plantation having an argument. You still on the plantation. To my African American community, whether you Democrat or Republican, please understand that in America you're Black and you're oppressed. You can get it systematic or you can get it traditional, however you want it. Things haven't changed. With that being said, this week Donald Trump unveiled what I call the Black Plan. He called it the Platinum Plan. And it is supposed to be $500 billion for Black America. And I'm going to go and give you some because people are outraged. You had people, oh, it's just a political ploy. Oh, he's just putting it outside now. And I was like, even in the midst of that, don't go off what the media shows you. Did you take time to read it for yourself? Did you actually take time to say, let me see what he's proposing? Because someone else made a point on this panel. Before the end, when I looked at it, I actually said, well, to be honest, I haven't seen anybody else propose anything. Go ahead and send me the hate mail. Obama, Bush, Clinton, the first Black president y'all labeled. A lot of stuff that we're hearing about now that they're scared of anarchy in our country, now all of a sudden we're getting a lot of stuff proposed to us that we should have been receiving, So now his plan, and listen, we're not validating or we're not endorsing any party tonight. We're just having a conversation. And we cannot be in here, because I'm going to tell you in the comments, somebody called me Uncle Tom. Hey, this radio boy only goes so far, I swear to God.
Now they gonna do it just to do it.
I had to read right in it, boy. All right, in President Trump's plan, this is the thing that stood out for me, and I'm like, out of all the presidents we had, why is this even why are we just hearing this as a possibility? So again, this is just a proposal. If he signs it into law or it becomes law, it's a win for Black America. We take our wins how we can. Designate the KKK and Antifa, which are the hate groups in our country, as terrorist organizations. By doing that, it changes a lot of the charges that come when you see these police-involved shootings and you find out they got a racist background. To be a terrorist organization, that changes everything. Second, he will make lynching a national hate crime. That is huge. Proposed. Second, America's about money. Whether you're Black or white, it's all about green. Increase access to capital and Black communities by $500 billion. Fourth, he will declare Juneteenth a national holiday. 5, Black America will seek to create 500,000 new Black-owned businesses and 3 million new jobs. And he will close all failing schools and replace those schools with choice and educational opportunity. Now, I will say one thing before I pass to you guys. The only thing that I stood out with it, because these are proposals. If he run with it, I can deal good, because I ain't had nobody propose nothing before. But the thing that scares me about the capital going to the black community, the stimulus money, we just seen how that went. A lot of Black businesses, small businesses, period, did not get those funds that was supposed to came to us, right?
Yep.
So if he's gonna put $500 billion into the community, I need somebody to be a agent that's gonna actually make sure those get to the communities. Second of all, it'll be good, but our community is already overtaken. The Black community is so poor, but it can't be poor if on every corner you have Arab, Chinese, and foreign owned store that's making a crap load of money in our own communities. So if we was to get some money, where we gonna open up these stores in? Because they own them. So where we gonna set up these new businesses at? So I said all of to say that conversation. These are proposed, but this could be a possible win, and ain't nobody proposed this before. The only counter that I seen this week was Kamala said if she was president, not VP, she said as president she will forgive Pell Grants and student loans. But between Joe Biden and Kamala and a whole lot of people running, y'all been in office 20, 40 years. So at some point, I'm saying as Black Americans, man, people just selling us dreams. At what point do we do what's best for us? So with all that being said, man, I wanted to get y'all thoughts on that, on the Trump plan. Chris, I'm gonna go to you first.
Okay, so the platinum plan. I think here at the Black Super Friends podcast, we want to present an unbiased, unemotional way of transferring the information. We don't support. We don't advocate for either side, Democrat or Republican. We think they all birds of the same feather. But our job is to give you the information. And just like Horace pointed out, a lot of the event opportunities on that plan, I want to point out some of the ones that I've seen. 300 million in new jobs, 5,000 in new Black businesses, 500 billion in access to capital for those businesses. I always preach about Black economics and Black entrepreneurship, so that's very, very important to a lot of us on this, to all of us on this cast. I also heard him say something about, this is the words, highest standard of policing. Now, I don't know what that means. I would like to have a better definition of that. I don't want a bunch of words. Fairness in the criminal justice system. Again, those are words. That's not legislation. That's not, I don't know what that means. The things that he said also rewrite wrongful prosecutions, which is good for us because a lot of us have been victims of the criminal justice system. Also, he said something about the clemency laws. All of these things are great. What I would suggest, what I would caution us on is his supporters. Now, this is his supporters, hasn't got the wall that he was promised 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's something that you need. If he hasn't provided for his supporters, that's something that you should be cautioning yourself on. I also feel like I question, why hasn't it been done yet? The president is a Republican. The majority House, the Senate majority is Republican. The House is Congress. Is Democrat. But if he wanted to get some of these laws done, I'm sure that the Democrats wouldn't oppose this. That would look terrible on them. So if he wanted to get this done, I don't see what's the haste of doing it. Basically, he's doing a quid pro quo. I hope I said that correctly. Well, I give you something, he give you, you give me your vote, I give you this, or you give me your vote first, and I give you that. Which we should ask for the same thing, but y'all need you to give me that first, and then I give you my vote. Also, here's the thing: whenever people say, for example, Black Lives Matter, a lot of people this met with all lives matter. So his supporters, I find it strange that his supporters hasn't spoke up about a plan that's specifically for Black people. When if you say Black Lives Matter, the first thing out of a lot of his supporters' mouth is all lives matter. So it's funny to me that he came out and make a plan directly for us, but it's not been no opposition to it from his supporters, and that's something that I think that we need to really need to look into. But on the other end, I think that what we should do is use this as leverage. We should use this as, okay, the Republicans is offering this. We should say, okay, well, for the Democrats, if you want our vote, we need equal or greater value than this. And that's what I think. I think we should use this as leverage. This is the barometer. This is the meeting stick, where we say, okay, well, this is what they're offering. Will you give us more for our vote? Because what we don't understand about the political system is this. What people do is they group together, they pool their resources, and they invest into a candidate. That's called lobbying. We at a unique time where we don't have to use, we can circumvent that, not have to use the money. We just have to leverage our votes. So I think that it's important to hear what's being said in an unbiased manner, and if you're a Democrat, we're not trying to change you, but I think that you should ask Kamala Harris and Joe Biden about how can they match it or make it greater. Mario, what you got? I went on a little while.
Y'all covered some good points, and I had a lot at first. We had talked about this previously, but as I mulled over this the last couple of days, I had thought about a lot of stuff y'all said too, and it brought me to a point of like the first point of what Tootie said is this a proposal. So people in the audience brought this up too. There's a lot of talk going on about what can happen and what can't happen. So as I begin to look at the past and seeing people put up proposals all the time, this happens. It's getting closer and closer to the election date. So you put up this lipstick on a pig to portray it out on the stage to say, hey, this is what I'm gonna do for y'all if y'all vote for, if this it's just another broken promise from a political party that I don't trust at all. That's Democrats or Republicans. So when I thought about this plan, I thought about at the end of the day, it don't matter. Just to be realistic with you, it don't matter until it actually matters. Because right now it's just a proposal. If I see it go through, then I'll take some more and looking into it and think some more about it. But right now, to me, it's just a ploy to get more people to come to their side to grab more votes. And that's all I think of it. Because one thing we do know about our president and presidents of the past, they talk a good game. And right now, we emotionally get tied or buy in to that talk, and then we cast our vote that way. But right now, I agree with what Chris said on another level. Like, why are we so focused on what they're saying and instead of what they're doing? Like, what are you going to do? So I'm going to wait and see what anybody, Kamala, Biden, Trump, I don't care if it's anybody. I just want somebody to really do something. Or let me see an inch. Like Tudor said, if it go into a proposal, I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care what people say. If he make the KKK a terrorist group, that's one step in the right direction. Yeah. And you can call me what you want. I'm going to say he has done this for us. And just anybody do it. So I just want to see something before I go and get all emotionally tied up like I normally do and people around me who normally do. You know what I'm saying? And then say, I'm going to just sit back and look. Say what you got.
I'm quick. Y'all are bigger on the politics than I am. I look at it and I see it for what it is. It's 41 days before election day. To me, it's a last ditch effort. It's a damn good one. You know what I'm saying? Shot that he's making and some of the things that he's trying to bring to the forefront for us. But I did take a look back into Donald Trump some as well and kind of look at some of the things that he has been doing as it pertains to Black people. So, as we talked a little bit before, he funded Jesse Jackson's both times that he ran for the White House, right? In the 80s, he was behind equal opportunity. Even the people that he's putting into place in his cabinet, like the Air Force has Charles Brown, and the lady, which is the first Black woman in. So what I see with Donald Trump is and what we all see, he's trying to make a name for himself. So we can't rule it out that he won't. Yes, he is. A lot of talk, we know, because the wall, i.e. the wall. You feel me? We ain't seen that yet. But at least he is striding in the right direction. And I think, like Chris said, it's time for us to hold his feet to the fire to actually do something. You see what I'm saying? But at least he's making that collective effort versus Biden. Well, we know what he did 94. We know what he did 77. You know what I'm saying? As far as that crime bill in 94, which messed a lot of our family members and Black men up, or brown people as well. And then 77, I think, is when he did the anti-busing, where he made his declaration that they were quick to put back online, to rub in his face. I think he's going to do what Hillary did, which is snub itself out because of actions they made in the past, which is going to make Donald Trump look like a shining pillar, even though he doesn't know how to control his mouth and the things that he says at the times that he says it. But one other thing is, that Donald Trump is a millionaire, billionaire, one of the two, right? When you start dealing with people who have money, they are black and white. They have any gray area. So they kind of say some things that are not right doesn't mean that their intentions are ill. So you got to do your research, see what's going to be the best choice for you, and don't lean on that Democrat Republican crap.
Absolutely.
Hold some people to the fire, see what their objectives and goals are, see if they are in alignment with what you want for your kids, because we're gonna be gone, and go forth with your vote.
Well, this is the biggest thing I want. This is the biggest thing I want people to take from us, our listeners. The media is owned by the same three people. When you go to war, if you ain't got no communication, you're gonna get mollywopped. Just like we complain about these shows and these negative images on the TV, that comes from the media companies. So this is what I want us to stop doing as people. We get so emotional about, oh, Trump said this and Biden said that every day. There are people that I want to say you could be using your energy a lot wiser than getting swayed by a news headline every day. And to be honest, if you go on Fox, they're going to have one story. If you go on the other one's going to have another story. At the end of the day, if you ain't in the 1%, you out here with everybody else.
Right.
Now, at first, I was like, well, the good thing is we've never been presented with an opportunity to escape poverty. It's just a proposal.
Right.
But now I'm at a point where with black votes being so critical, we're not taking less no more. You got to show us something. Like Chris said, okay, this is what he proposed. Democrats, what y'all got? Because for the last, whether it was Obama, whether it was Bush, Clinton, before, we just gave our votes away, and we have not advanced economically in this country where it counts at. Right. Like I said, I don't do the arguments on Facebook and social media with people because you have a right to do what you want to do. I'm just saying, just know the media has a role in it too. So instead of reading the headline, actually read the story once, because you'll see a headline and you will go out into an argument and look crazy. When I tell people, F the presidential election, the man running this country is a racist guy called Mitch McConnell, who just won an election illegally, but that's who's running your country. That's the same guy that's gonna say, I don't care who president, everything come through here. And most people don't even know who he is, right? So while we run over there talking about Biden is the answer, listen, I'm not endorsing him because I've been in politics a long time. I remember when Biden was a segregationist to the core, segregationist, where he didn't believe in black kids and white kids going to the same school. This man fought it until almost the 90s. His Crime Act was the one. He's the real architect of mass incarceration. Yeah. So how will you keep running back and forth? Like, again, us arguing amongst each other about the presidential election, a picture, a bunch of slaves in front of a plantation arguing about different policies or arguing about stuff. We still on a damn plantation. And economically,
I think you worded it as a union meeting in the pre-show.
Union meeting. We ain't even trying to get off the plantation. So right now, Black America deserves to be selfish. No more killing us. No more poverty for once. Because we $1 trillion in spending power. That's shame on us. We spend $1 trillion in this country. Take them dollars and redirect them. So I don't want to go on a rant. We got to do better, but we have to demand better. We cannot allow them in this country to go election to election, just telling us whatever, and we feeling like, no, hell no. What you about to say, Zay?
I was gonna say, for the ones who are running for the Biden Kamala Harris ticket, with Mitch McConnell there, he gonna run into the same thing that Obama ran into. That door stopper. Yeah. You feel me? So Rick Ross might be right when he said he glad that Donald Trump president. You got to destroy it before we elevate. And he gonna tear this bitch up. I think so. So I don't know, man. But if he do a quarter of the things that he proposed, man, that's a step in the right direction. And like you said, with our votes, if we hold his feet to the fire and let him know that our votes aren't cheap, we might be able to get some things done. We might.
But bro, he definitely destroying it. But are some opportunities coming through this? Yeah. We got to look at, no matter, we got to go and for once, black people have our own plan and get what we can get for ourselves. Listen, in the next 3 months, the economy due to COVID has been so crappy, you actually will be able to buy a house if you've been saving for the cost of a house.
You know what's sad too?
Stock market favorable? Yes. I'm saying we back there down there in the 80s again, maybe even 2000. So there's some opportunities that came from chaos. So I'm like Rick Ross, sometimes you got to destroy it from within.
Guess what, though, too? You made a mention of something. You said the 500 billion or 500, something, the money that you said that they're going to cut loose to the black economy or to the black American economy. They just did stimulus, and you know, you made a joke about that, but they know that too. Like you said, what our $1 trillion spending habit is, they know that money going right back in the economy.
Absolutely.
Because they're not taught how to wealth build, how to, you know, put it in the business. Well, they're going to the Gucci store. They're going to go get the Benzes, the Cadillacs, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But
Zay, it's right back in the economy right back up. So they ain't really lose.
But a lot of us didn't, though, Zay. We gotta shed. A lot of us didn't, though. We got to shed light on the black people that didn't do that. We love to shed light on the people that's going to abuse it, but there's a lot of people that didn't abuse it, that started a business, that started the idea. Just like with the housing and everything, we talk about the women or the families that abuse it, but a lot of families has used it as a stepping stone and moved it up to prosperity. So I think we need to start. I think we need to start showing, celebrating the victories also as much as we, you know, talk about the negatives. I think that at the end of the day, man, we have to take it on ourselves too. Regardless, the election is 41 days away, right? But the rest of our lives is everything after 41 days and after. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of who the president, we have to take this energy that we are possessing right now and focus on us and do better with us. We have to stop the victim mentality. We have to start to save ourselves, and that's from us, from one another, our interactions with each other. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make a difference, because if it's Joe Biden, if it's Donald Trump, we have to start saving ourselves. We have to start teaching our kids what we want to teach our kids. Ashley Napier says, change the narrative, and I completely agree with that. Let's start taking it on our own, especially us as fathers, man, especially us as black men, as fathers. Let's set the tone. We no longer accepting excuses. We no longer, you know what I'm saying, playing victim to nobody. We got to start using words differently. Let's stop saying oppressed, even though it may be the case. Let's stop talking in a victim mindset. Let's stop saying, "Oh, I can't breathe, my hands up." Now we start saying, "Well, hey, you mess with us, we shoot back." You know what I'm saying? Let's start having some of that toxic masculinity come out, because that's what the hell we need. We gotta grow our nuts, man. Hard, I see you've been down there quiet, man. I know you got a lot to say. Talk to me.
No, I'm listening, because, you know, I really don't, because, you know, I feel like what I'm probably gonna say people don't like, but it's just real. Like right now, the last part what you said is how I live my life. People ask me, how you gonna change? Know what my method is? Me being better. First, I start with me, and then I go out and say, how every day can I make a difference, and how could I help somebody? So I start to look for black businesses. I start educating myself more. I start building business. I tell every one of my friends, every loophole, every nugget of information I get, I send it. If I find out something on, you know, I'm in the housing market, anything about credit, I just send it, and stop being a crowd. Like, that's the thing. We as a people, we crowds. Like, it started there. That's why we can't stick together, because we crowds. Because right now, you know, as soon as you get something, you want to shine. So I agree with you. If I do this and you do that and you do that, now we starting a collective. If all four of us right now get together and say we're gonna focus on us being the best us we can be, and then it'll spread out. We put one person in, because a lot of times we think too big, and maybe that's the wrong thing. But I think we start thinking about all black people just need to stick together.
Can't do that.
Well, how about all the people you know? Get them together, and then let's grow from there. And stop trying to get 1,000. Get 10. Start with 10. That's how I feel. But, you know, I know everybody got to say it's the collective and we need everybody. But I believe
need everybody.
fraud with a little bit, and that keep growing, and that keep growing. Like Zay said, we might not see that our generation, but it might make it to my son's son generation from 10 people. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to start. That's my point. Right now, I'm just ready to. We have to start.
Yeah.
Listen, what Tom said something earlier. I think we said it this week in our production meeting, right? And one of y'all said for the first time, they hear us and they fear us. Because to be honest, right now America is on the brink of chaos. I will tell you, the day after the election, stay your A at home. I don't know what's going to happen. Whether win or lose, there's going to be some chaos in America the day after. So we're on the verge of a revolution in America. And for the spiritual people, we pretty much in revelation. That's just the honest truth. To people that's in the financial sector, I want to tell you that the dollar, get involved in some of these trending groups. Get you some stock, but get you some cryptocurrency. The dollar is going to fall. And for the people that we've been saying this, get you some crypto because it's a world currency. Sorry to say, but the dollar, most of these wars and conflicts are about the dollar, where America's trying to make people keep the dollar. The dollar right now is not even worth $1. So get into that aspect. But to say something like what Chris is saying before we go, let's be proactive. Yes. What I mean by proactive, for once, as us, let's start building on our own, and maybe we'll get some more respect. I always tell y'all before, the LGBT, all of them people, they went, America's about money. We organized, collected, monetized, and then you'll say, well, dang, gay people got more rights in America than black people because they know the formula. They took the blueprint and they went forward with it. I hate as black people, no, as Americans, that we proactive. Well, no, we reactive. Reactive because after the election, first thing we say, we want to talk about the Electoral College. Electoral College was based off the transition between non-slave states and slave states, right? When the group win an election, it's cool. When we lose an election, we need to change the Electoral College. Why do we still base our elections based off Electoral College and not the popular vote? But we only do that right before the election. So what have we been doing for 4 years, right? Second of all, something simple, legislation and laws. One of the biggest things, and I'm going to be publishing this week, this speech, and hopefully it gets published. One of the biggest issues in our country is this. A lot of stuff that's deemed legal in America, a lot of stuff that's deemed constitutional in America is morally wrong. One of the biggest enemies of black people is the word probable cause.
Got me a time or two.
Breonna Taylor came down to an issue of probable cause. When you look at back all of these cases, those officers are using probable cause to justify a lot of stuff that they know they're morally wrong doing. And they're getting off with that term probable cause. So what do I say? Just like y'all be mad about presidential elections, be mad about the local elections when you electing your state senator, your city council, and your governor, because your state laws apply to you just as much as your federal laws. So probable cause, that's something that I want my locals to start changing, because probable cause, I think I smell marijuana. Probable cause, I think so-and-so was going on inside that house. Well, what was your backup? Probable cause means I had a educated guess, or I believe. I can believe that Zay doing X, Y, Z. That is an issue, and that is a big problem in America. Probable cause. We got to tackle that, man. And we're not having those conversations. We too busy arguing about Trump or Biden. Let's start talking. Let's start winning the small fights first. That's my spiel for it.
That's what we're here for, my brother. That's what we're here for.
All right.